Hello, and welcome to Headway Idea Labs. My name is Wes Okeke, and I'm the founder and CEO of Headway. My experience in technology dates back over 40 years. Plus, I also have over 25 plus years in business development, marketing, and sales. So I've been in front of tons of customers, both nationally and internationally. And when it comes to providing a value proposition, it's very important to have a value proposition that people can experience. So today I'm going to talk about product value E proposition, where the E stands for emotions and connecting emotions to technology. We all know that when it comes to purchasing products, people make the decision based on their emotions, and then they validate it based on logic. But typically we feel something when it comes to purchasing. And to sustain good customers and have customer loyalty, there must be a human connection. Now, we hear the term business and it's all about business, but at the end of the day, since we are human beings, the emotional connection to your business, to your product, to the value that you're providing to your customers, that emotional connection must always be present and be strong if you want to be successful. So, a solution that provides emotional value. Now, the success of any business or product concept depends on your ability to add value through your product or service. And that value has to be experienced by your customer. So your business, your product concepts will not be successful unless your customers can experience that value. And market research and consumer input greatly helps you achieve this. But a few things to remember. One is you must create a solution that successfully solves your clients' and customers' problems. And to do that, you must have a firm grasp of their needs and wants and their pain points. Two, the solution should be created to offer the client benefits that are both obvious and concrete. A lot of times, companies and startups can create products that are phenomenal, but the benefits are not very obvious to the customer, and they're not concrete, they're not solid, they don't accurately solve a pain point. And three, your target audience and your customers should be very much made aware of these advantages so they can see how your solution does actually help them a great deal. So looking at the value from your solution, from your product, whether it's software or hardware, it's crucial to gauge the value and advantages that your consumers are enjoying after introducing your product or service. And a good way to do that is through early adopters, because early adopters are actually the best to help with this. But also customer surveys, comments from customers, and reviews from customers, and customer interviews will be a great benefit to ensure that you're directly targeting the pain points that your customers are experiencing and that you're able to maximize the efficiency of your product in solving their problems. And realize this is all about perception. To what degree does your customer perceive that your product, whether it's software or hardware, even if it's a service, how do they perceive that your product is actually solving their problem and has a great deal of value to them? Now, in the end, how much advantage and value your clients see or perceive in your product or service will determine how much money your product idea will make. You can develop a strong brand and a devoted client base by concentrating on giving your consumers value. But again, the perceived value from yourself, in other words, the value you perceive of your product that you perceive your customers will receive, must match the experience, value, and benefit by your customer. So a lot of people will say, well, this product I'm selling or this service I'm offering is worth $200. Your customer must have that same perception on the value of your product or greater. If not, to them, they may not see the value of your product being worth $200. Now, we're going to talk about core values, and hopefully you have set your core values. And if you haven't, that you've walked through the core value exercise that Headway provides. It's a very in-depth core value exercise to ensure that you have developed core values that are very much tied to the founder or the founders of the company. Now, to provide a great customer experience, and remember, it's all about your customer's experience and how they perceive your value, not what you think they should perceive, but how they actually perceive your value. So to provide a great customer experience, they must be able to experience an emotional feeling of satisfaction, which many companies try to do. And some do that very well. But enabling a customer to not only experience satisfaction, but to also experience an emotional connection in the form of validation, feeling valued or understood in connection with the product or service, this in many cases far outweighs even the feeling of satisfaction at times. Now, if you've been on customer service calls where something with your product or something went wrong, and you are on the phone with customer service, and the person on the other line cannot solve your problem, but they listen to you, they ensure you have a great experience communicating to them, they show empathy and they listen to you and they validate how you feel. Normally, even though you're frustrated or disappointed that your problem didn't get solved, you're more than likely to come back. Not always, but more than likely to come back. Or you may be on a customer service call and they're solving your problem, but they can come across indifferent, as if it's not their fault or not their problem or you're bothering them. And even though they solve your problem, you walk away very, very, very unhappy and dissatisfied, and you don't feel validated, you don't feel valued, and you totally cut off buying any of their products or cut business with them. You see, ensuring that your customers experience an emotional connection in the form of validation, feeling valued or understood in connection with your product or service is one of the catalysts of ensuring customer loyalty. And you always want to reach customer loyalty where whether you do well or you make some major mistakes, your customers are loyal even when you fail, because you have developed and created this emotional connection that they have experienced in the form of validation, feeling value, and being understood, as well as having a satisfactory experience. To do this, it's important to ensure that the core values of your business are executed properly. This means that the product or the service you are offering should embody the values and deliver on the promises made to customers. We'll talk a little bit about that later, and I'll provide a few examples. But this is why you must do an in-depth research and construction of your company's core values. They're not just values that sit there, they're important values that your customers, employees actually, and partners should experience. For example, if one of your core values of your business is quality, the product should be designed and manufactured to meet high quality standards, and the customer should receive a high quality product as well as high quality service that meets or supersedes their expectations. And I will talk a little bit more about that as well. But realize your core values. And I will also touch lightly on mission and vision because those are also very important. They embody an experience, a human experience that your customers should feel, experience, and they will feel value from it. Now, experiencing a company's core values through your product. Number one, human emotional connection should be considered when designing a hardware or software product that people will use, such as hardware devices, robots, apps, development tools, and websites. Two, while designing software, take into account how individuals, your customers, receive information so that they receive it in a way that affects a person's inner core or produces good emotions. Because at the end of the day, we are always going to be emotional beings. Three, perceptual, linguistic, physical, and cognitive representations of emotions should all be taken into account when designing software. Four, emotionally healthy behaviors such as happiness, joy, excitement, pleasure, interest, curiosity, amusement, enthusiasm, pride, and trust should be promoted through technology design, whether it's software or hardware. And I encourage you to study some companies out there that have done a great job in their service, and some have done a great job in their products, in their software, their hardware. Apple's a great example of creating hardware products that encourage emotional or provide emotionally healthy behaviors, as such as happiness. And I'm not talking about addiction. I'm not talking about getting on your cell phone and staying on there forever. But I'm talking about the types of products you're considering, the people that are going to use them, and to ensure that they have a great experience. Five, negative emotions, including sadness, frustration, concern, bewilderment, rage, hatred, so on and so forth, should be avoided, right? There are times I've used software, and I'm a software developer, and I call this customer service, and I tell them, listen, I've developed software for many, many years. The product that I'm trying to use is almost impossible. It's not intuitive. You did not think through your customers and how they're going to use it. And equally with hardware products, this happens often. And as a tech expert, it frustrates me so much when engineers or software developers or any type of businesses that are in tech develop a product that is hard to use and causes negative emotions. And then six, technology, when applicable for all that interact with it, should experience as much as possible a company's core values. And so just think about your core values for a minute, and we'll talk about how to implement some of these core values very quickly. So experiencing a company's core values through their products. I'm going to give you quick examples with Headway. Example of Headway's core values being implemented in Headway's online platform. So we have an online platform. So one of Headway's core values is personal growth. I believe in personal growth. And so whenever I'm working with people, I always consider their personal growth. That's just something I value, not just for my business, but for my life. That's who I am. And founders, hopefully if you're more than one founder, you align in values. And if you haven't done this, please consider taking a value test and going through our entrepreneurship's core values. But one of Headway's core values is personal growth. And so what have I implemented in our platform? I've done a lot of work regarding personal reviews. I have a personal reviews section, And there's a constant focus on people first throughout our platform, and technology is of second importance because the people and your growth as a person is more important, is very important. So I needed to make sure that I implemented one of those values in my online platform. Another value that I implemented one is harmonious partnerships. And I wanted to make sure, for me, harmonious partnerships encompasses transparency, mutual sacrifice, and contribution to the benefit of all. So we provide a lot of free value content to our users. We look forward to receive and request and solicit feedback and return the favor with gratitude and sincerity. We provide non-biased, non-monetary advice and solutions, even if it means being introduced to a competitor. So if I have to introduce a client or customer to a competitor for the sake of what they need, I'm going to do so. And then one of the other core values for Headway is sustainability. And we extend our product use and support for 4 times as long as much time is typically needed, right? So we want to make sure, and regarding sustainability is one of our values, we want to ensure that our customers experience sustainability when working with us, that they experience harmonious collaboration when working with Headway, that they experience personal growth when working with Headway. And if we can do that in our software products, great. And Headway has built and does build hardware products for customers, and we try to guide them to think through that when they're building something that's a hardware device. More of experiencing a company core value through their product. Headway examples, Headway core value being implemented in Headway's online platform, which I talked about, and then some hardware examples would be interaction with the user and sustainability. But there are also non-technical ways of experiencing Headway's value, and this I mentioned earlier. Other ways of providing value would be through our customer support, and secondly, partnership events and community outreach. When it comes to these experiences for our customers, I want to make sure they are experiencing Headway's core values, whether it's through interactions physically, whether it's through software, or whether it's through hardware, or whether it's through customer support. Now, it takes time to do that. It takes thought. It takes a lot of communication and interviews with your customers. But remember this, I always tell all tech companies, people first, technology second. Provide your customers with a huge value proposition that stems not from the technology itself, but stems from the human component of yourself, which will hopefully originate from your core values. Thank you. Now, a few things to just remind you of. Headway has what we call investor preparedness programs. And here are some of our programs: market research, creating a stronger value proposition, which this particular exercise will be in there, developing your business strategy, sales planning, and so on and so forth. For the early adopter report, we actually have to do that ourselves because I have people degrees in marketing and in psychology. In our platform, online platform for startups, we also have templates. These are just some examples of some of the templates. We just created a new template, which is our customer journey map, which is excellent. It was an upgrade of our template. And lastly, we have a funding platform in partnership with Funder, 400 plus investors. And this has some AI in it. So when we launch you on our platform, it matches you immediately with investors that are looking for your type of company. There is a validation and qualification process that you do need to go to get on our platform. The price is $29 a month, so relatively inexpensive. We also have a mailing list of over 5,000 investors. Thank you for listening and hope to see you soon.